Good evening, everyone, and welcome to tonight's question time. We are live and we're answering all your game dev and Unreal Engine questions. All you have to do is put your question in the chat, and I'll try and grab as many questions as I can and answer them to the best I can within the hour that we're here today live. So thank you, everyone who's joining us live. I see we've got a few new faces, at least I think they're new, and familiar ones. So hi everyone, hi Vibe, Senpai, hello DJ Roundtable, Rusty, good to see you again. I hope everyone is doing well okay. Why is the camera like weirdly squiffed? Hang on, let's move that now. I think it's got a slight turn, this camera, it moves like this. Update on my Lego build, hold on. It's coming together quite well. So I've got this for my birthday from my wife, and it's coming together quite well. My little Pac-Man. That's up. Get in there. Slowly but surely, get in there. It's been a fun build. It all like turns and rotates around. Yeah. So get in it. I just broke it. There we go. Oh. So making progress. Anyway, enough of news. Just over 4 days time, we are going to be starting our Games Jam. So make sure you have signed up over on the Games Jam itch page for the Games Full Jam 2023. You sign up to it. Prize of $300 for the best entry. Theme will be announced on the 23rd. So feel free to start up, and it lasts until October 27th. So sign up now. If you want to be in a chance to win it and have a good time with that. In other news, Mimic's Kickstarter page is almost ready to go live, but you can follow the Kickstarter page now over on Kickstarter. You search for Mimic and you'll find it. You'll be notified when it launches in the near future. At the moment, we're just doing a load of little things behind the scenes to get things ready and going with that. And lots of work has been going on in Mimic. I can't wait to get to a position where I can show you more about it. But things are looking pretty damn good. And if you want to support the channel, head over to patreon.com/Ryan Laley, where you can take part in our monthly Creator Challenge. In Creator Challenge, you can are given a task to try and complete. You submit your project and you get feedback on the project you submitted based upon whatever the task is. And it'd be a small little like mini jam every month, basically. But yeah. Is the theme going to be spooky themed by any chance? No, not necessarily. So we've got a couple of questions I've seen whilst we've been setting up here. So let's take a look at some of the quick ones first of all. Ryan, any tips on how to start learning UE5? To start learning UE5, you want to be following YouTube channels like Ryan Laley Games, honestly. But the way I learned Unreal was basically just playing around with it. But I did come in with prior experience with other game engines and programming knowledge, so it did help a lot translating that back into it. Next question. Can you please remake, this is from Vibe, can you please remake the equipment series because it's not working well, thanks. And when the next part of the survival series will come out, thank you very much, appreciated. So episode 12 of the survival series is now on Patreon. Episode 13 will be soon. Sorry, I got like 3 hours sleep last night, so apologies. Will be soon. Equipment series, eventually maybe one day we'll go back to it and redo it, but at the moment it's not a big pressure to do so. It does still work. The hard thing about equipment series to do is that everyone in their mind has a different way of how the equipment system is going to work, and you can never make anyone fully happy with it. It's like, well, try and take away the lessons from it. Don't just rely on copying it one-to-one. Try to take away the lessons and be able to put together your own solutions. So if I were going to do it, I'm going to try and make it more generic. Yeah, we'll see. Next question. Hello, Ryan. I'd like to see this from Stan Schoenemacher. I would like to see the ability of very high grass, shoulder length, being able to walk through, and the path you took has bent grass that slowly recovers in a natural state. Regrow trees after you chop it down with permanent move when you also destroy the stump, which prevent regrowth. Okay, so you want to bend the grass. It stays bent when you walk on it, and then you want it to slowly bend back up. We don't have that much time to do it in. But if you ever looked at how, I mean, there are videos about how to do it. You can look up how to do like snow shaders, where you walk through snow and it threads the snow down. The difference would be the regrowing part. That's the tricky bit. Because the way those things work is that you're drawing on a texture, and you press it, and everything that's white gets pushed down, everything that's black gets pushed up, or vice versa. But to make it fade back in, that's a little trickier. I would have to experiment, which I won't do now because it'll take way too long. I could spend hours doing it. But yeah, there may be a way. I'm not entirely certain. The main issue is that you've got a texture, and you can't just like say slowly raise the texture level up because it's going to do the whole lot in one, which you don't want to do. You want to do it gradually. So there may be a way around it. I don't know what. I have to try and mess about with it. DJ Roundtable, should we be setting values on data assets? If not, where should I manipulate values from data assets if I'm not using any actors? So data assets and much like data tables, where they are read only. You don't change values on them. You are simply reading data from them. So if you are going to be manipulating values, you're basically copying values from there into an actor and then manipulating them there. But you can't save them back into a data asset. Okay, you just can't. Senpai, love your content, working on MOBA and have struggled to find a good video for League of Legends style fit Fog of War. Any tips? I did a Fog of War video in the RTS series. Want to check that out? That might help you out with how to think about that. Let's scroll down here. You need to make more videos and data assets. I mean, I can do, but they're not that special. There's not much to them. But we can do if you want. JJ Tittles. Hey Ryan, I'm making a split screen game and I'm using the create local player node in level blueprint, but I can't control a second character. I think it's because both are using the same player controller. Yes, so you have to set it to the next player controller. So this is obviously single player to start off with. If I want to make it multiplayer, split screen multiplayer, you have to. Oh man, try and remember this now. Go to input. I think it is. It might be already enabled. So if I go into my main player character, here, and I'm just gonna do like on a button push. Spawn local spawn player spawn no local player create local player. That's it. Create local player, and yep. And so you leave the controller ID at -1, so it just picks the next available one. If you want to specify which one they're going to go into, like 0, 1, 2, 3, or whatever number you want, you specify it here, but you can leave it as -1 and it'll just go into the next one. And here you want to make sure spawn player controller is ticked on, so it's processed straight away by that other player controller. And then when you push play and hit 1, we get now split screen. Yeah. That's all there is to do that. Any plans to do game optimization series? Yeah, so we've been doing loads and loads of optimizations in Mimic. Once we get into a good, healthy place with that, I want to take all the stuff we've been doing with it and apply it to videos and showcase some of the things we did with it. So yes, we'll be going through that. Chalon, currently working on cameras that zooms in when you are walking and zooms out when you are running or standing still, getting it to have a smooth transition. Would using timers be best practice? There's quite a few ways you can do that. One such way is on our character here. We could do a simple tick event to lerp between different values. So we're going to go tick. And we're going to take the camera boom. And we're going to do... well, I'll show you the first of all easy one that people often forget about, in that you can add lag to your camera. So if you go down here and add lag, you can add lag to it and it will basically drag behind. But if you want to just actually extend the boom when they're running, you get the camera boom here, get the target arm length. And it has to be on tick because it's something that has to update every single frame. So you need it on that. So you get target arm length, and then you put this a float using F interp 2. Like that. That'll get you the current value. The target value will be varied based upon your speed. So what we can do is we can do get velocity. And from that, we're going to get a vector length, which tells us the speed of the character in the float form. So when I run at 600, I think it is by default, 500, it'll give us 500 there. And then from here, I can then lerp between the target values there and there. So at the moment, the camera boom is set to 400. If I wanted to, I can take this value here and multiply this by 2. And then I can then do maximum float between that and the minimum I want to use. So 400 is minimum. And that'd be our target. So let's say, for example, we are running at full 500. Okay, so this gets us 500. Times by 2 gets us 1,000. 1,000 max 400. You're going to choose 1,000, and that goes into there, and it will lerp the arm length to 1,000. If we're not moving at all, 0. 0 times 2 is 0. 0 max 400. It'll pick 400, and it will target up to 400. Delta time then is our delta seconds. Interp speed is how smoothly you want it to move. 4, 2, 3, whatever. And then we're going to take a camera boom and do set target arm length. And that will give you smooth transition from when you're running, standing still. To demonstrate that, if I go forwards here, if I run, and because I'm on a keyboard, it's quite digital. Yeah, and you obviously tweak the numbers to your own liking. Yeah. Jeremy Berger, what are some differences between data assets and structs in how they should be used? Data assets are read-only. They're just information you're just going to give to an actor. Whereas structs are variables, the collection of variables that you can actually change and edit and save data in. So data assets are going to be just straight up data values. If you're using a data table, for example, they are a replacement of the data table. You can use them instead of a data table. But structs aren't. Structs are their own sort of collection of variables that can be changed. Sorry, I thought I had noises. I asked about particle systems. Like, how do you do a biotic blast from Mass Effect? I do not know what a biotic blast looks like. 1 second, let's take a look. Biotic blast, Mass Effect. Oh, it's that thing. This is this the Biotic Blast? This thing? Oh, thank you for a donation, Nature Jacko. How do you go about giving rewards after hitting a certain current level of XP from the XP tutorial? I figured I'd ask before I requested a session. Oh man, I'll have to actually. Okay, so I obviously don't have the XP system here. Okay, we'll do the Biotic Blast in a minute. So the oh, let me answer this question first while it's still relevant. So my world's asking whether the camera boom changing length is best doing it on a tick. You need to have it happening regularly because it needs to be a smooth transition. So every frame you need to recalculate whether or not the thing should be lengthy or not. If you were doing a timeline, still a tick. Yeah, if you were doing it on a timer or whatever, like a very short timer, it's still a ticking timer. You'll just see more stuttery. So a tick is best to keep that smooth transition. And I know people are freaking out like, oh my god, tick, don't use tick. It's very dangerous. Something like that, like a simple value change, means nothing on a tick. Do you know how much work your game is already doing on a tick event? It's nuts. A little value like that is not going to do anything. So don't fret. Yeah. The main thing you want to avoid with tick events are recursive functions. So like things like for loops and things like that, you want to avoid those because it could cause hang-ups, because for loops have to but the way for loops work is that it hits the for loop and it has to do the whole for loop before it continues going on. So if your for loop is massive, that could take some time and therefore make the game hang. So yeah, XP rewards. I mean, I can't remember my XP system entirely, but on the XP system, you'd have. I mean, I won't make the whole thing. I'll just do a quick example. You have your XP system, okay, and what you can do is you can do the reward system inside of the XP system if you want. It depends on what kind of rewards you're doing. But essentially, what you want to do here is you want to go on event, like for example, you'd have a function that is like level up. Yeah, you have that sort of thing. Then you have an event dispatcher on here saying on level up. And the event dispatcher will have an input saying what kind of level they're on that moment. So level like that. And then obviously a variable here for what level they're on. Be an integer. So when you do the level up code from the series, you just do that, and then at the end you chuck in your event dispatcher and call it and plug in your level. Now wherever you bind it, so you could bind it inside this XP system itself, or you could do it anywhere else. You can do it in another actor, you can do it in the player character, wherever you like. Basically because you've got this event dispatcher, you can call it. So for example, if I had this level up function being called here, so we do bind on level up. So you have something like this, okay? And it would go down to custom event and we'll do leveled up. You're going to get the level coming through here, and then you can do a switch on int, basically, for example, if you want. And you can do that if you like. You don't have to do it that way. You could do it the other way. You do like other query systems that go through this. You can do it via data tables, whatever it is. But essentially, you're just calling an event dispatcher to say, "Hey, something's happened. Can you react to it?" And that's how like event dispatchers are best used, is a sort of a reaction to something else happening. And I say it doesn't have to be on the XP system. It could be absolutely anywhere. So yeah. Hopefully that gives you a sort of idea of where you want to go with it. Oh, thank you for the donation again, Senpaiverse. Do you take commissions to build specific blueprint systems? Yes, but not currently, as I am chock-a-block with work. I'm mad busy. So I'm busy up until January, probably. So unfortunately, won't have any time with it. But if you're interested and willing to wait, throw me an email, and I can let you know. Okay, so Biotic effect. So this sort of effect where it's like mapping around the character and then out the hands. So it looks like it's like 2 or 3 different types of things going on here. We've got like a Fresnel effect going on and other things. So let's try a look at this. So first of all, we're going to make the material. And I'll make a little folder to keep all this together. Biotic. And material. Biotic character. So this has got to be layered on top of the other character, which we'll do in the form of the Niagara system. But essentially we need to make this use a Fresnel node. And we're going to put that in the emissive. So I'll make that actually translucent and emissive. And we're also going to put that into the opacity. So we get that effect where it sort of ghosted around the edges. And then multiply it by whatever color you want. In which case they've got like a purpley blue sort of thing. Something like that. And they've probably also got the sort of like rippling effect going on here too. Which case we could also use that. Noise. Oh, can't spell noise. Don't know what would be best for this. It doesn't really matter really. We'll just pick anything. And we're going to step this. So take the R and do step. And I've done a video on step before, but what step does is basically rounds up from a value. So if I put in like 0.5, for example, it'll do something like this. Yeah, or 0.8, 0.2, 0.4. Yeah, you get things like that. So once I got that in there, I'm going to add that to the emissive color here. So I'm going to do this, add that to it, and I want to clamp this value as well. Keep it in between those. And then in here, we want this to be panning. Panner. And we'll do -1. So you get this sort of weird effect going on. I should have put that actually before the color happens. Add that to that. That goes into that. And that goes into that. There you go. So now I've got the color going on. Okay, so whatever little effect you want to do. And if you want this step here to animate as well and move up and down and change different values, we can sine wave that too if we want. So I can do sine time. Sine waves goes between 0, 1, -1, also, and so on. So it'll look a bit weird. Let's see if I go. As you can see this weird effect going on. And it ups it really fast, which you don't want. So I'm going to change the sine and change the range of it. I'm going to absolute it. And we're going to basically divide it by 3. And then add point, like the minimum, 0.2. I'll put that on there. And we'll get this sort of like coming in and coming out sort of effect. And slide down with the time. So we do multiply that by a value, and we'll put in, I don't remember if this is a fractional or not. 0.2. Yeah. Okay, so it's a bit more slowed down. Like that. Speed, we'll turn it down to more 0.3. And that one will do 0.3. There we go. So on our sphere, we've got this effect going on. Okay. So that'll do that. That'll do roughly for the material. Next is the particle effect. So this, we're going to go into an Niagara system. We'll create an empty one. Biotic. And inside the Biotic system, we're going to create an emitter. And the first emitter we're making is a skeletal mesh emitter. So we're going to empty that. And we're going to turn off the sprite renderer and add a render here for the component renderer. I've noticed I've got a few more renderers in 5.3. Anyway, on the component renderer, you need to determine what kind of component you want to use. So over here on the right hand side, you've got component type. We're going to use a skeletal mesh. Like that. And then down here we've got the component properties. Now the mesh you're gonna get, you want to get it from the thing that you're attaching this to. Yeah. So it's not going to be just like this. Which we set somewhere. Well, I'll tell you what, if I do the default one for now, we can test it out. So many and then go to emitter update, and we're going to do spawn rate and spawn 1. There it is. Okay, and then I'm going to change its material by overriding over here. So over here we can override the material somewhere. Rendering? No. Just search for it. Material. Override materials. There you go. Add override material. And here we're going to use our biotic material we just made. Like that. Oh, I need to add another one. He's got 2 indices to this. Biotic. Okay, so there we got our character there, doing this sort of biotic sort of field around them. And that'll do that. I'm trying to think. I remember where you get which one from. Skeletal sample skeletal mesh. That's right. And preview mesh. Okay, yeah. So here, right, we're gonna. If I turn off this, like that, the sample skeletal mesh here, you're gonna pick the mannequin, like that. No. No. Sorry, that's reading. Okay, so sorry. No, that's not it. Undo. Trying to remember how this got it. There was a setting. I can't remember where it was now. There's a setting somewhere where you can fetch it. Unless it's been changed in 5.3, I don't know. But anyway, right, we'll move on. So you got this as your first effect. So let's just close that for now and go to my player character. And over here, I'm going to turn off the tick thing here for now. And I'm going to change the 1 key thing. And in here, I'm going to spawn an icon system. Spawn system attached. And we're going to spawn the biotic system, attaching it to our mesh component. Location right, we're going to snap to target key, including scale. And leave it like that. So this... not doing anything. Yeah. Auto activate. Yep. I'm just gonna move it ahead of me a little bit, so 50, just so we're just not overlapping it by accident. Not spawning at all. And that may be because of this. Enable on which should be enabled. Components enabled. Particle to work enabled. I remember it at all. Where was it? I'll do the sample. I don't think that's it though. Source mode, attach parent, Mani, compile, save. Doesn't feel like it's doing anything. Test that out. I'm just going to add another emitter. We'll just do like a fountain. Yeah, that works. Why is that not reading that then? Sample skeletal mesh. Mesh user parameter. Attach parent. Is it too faint? We should still see something. Regardless of that. Because this is just a preview mesh. The thing you see is just preview. It would get the source from the attached parent. That's the thing I was looking for before. It gets that. And then that should be it. Yeah, it's definitely not there. I can change time of day if you want. Don't think it matters too much, right? Yeah, see? It's just not sampling it. For whatever reason. Skeletal mesh component. Component type. Particles, components enabled. Use the variable particles, components enabled if it exists, otherwise use the default true. Render visibility, mesh, skin cache, animation. Yeah, I don't know. Ah. It was not visible in the renderer. Was that a thing? No. I don't know. I'll have to play about with that. I don't know why it's doing that. Render visibility 0. Oh. if a render visibility tag. I mean, I'm just gonna look it up. Hang on. UE5 doc Niagara. Ooh, that's spell Niagara. Component renderer. Definitely had it working before. Component renderer. Right. Doesn't help that these this documentation is well out of date. Maybe it needs particular IDs, in which case we need to do persistent IDs, maybe? That could be a thing. Nope. I've got a theory about something. I'll do that. Yep, there it is. So it was working. It was spawning at 000. Yeah. Okay, so it does work. It's just at the wrong position. So I need to update its position. So, you know, sorry. Yeah, over here we've got skeleton mesh, and inside here there must be a location setting. Location. Relative location, particles position. So I don't want the particles position. I want to use the sampled skeletal mesh position. Yep, there it is. Oh, it's now spawning loads. Okay. So, right. Oh, wrong thing. You should be also able to fetch the animation from the data too as well. Alternatively, we could overlay the material. Set overlay material. We could do that. Biotic. So rather than spawning a Niagara system, you will need a Niagara system to do the hand stuff. But yeah, there you go. Just do that instead. Right, so you do that. And then this would be the actual smoky blowing up things coming down the arm of the character. Which case you still need to reference the mesh because you need it going onto the bone of the mesh. So we need emitter. We'll just do. What'll be a good one to do? A sort of basic starting one. Confetti burst. Sure. So we'll do. Oh, wait, is it just bursting up there? Alright, won't do a confetti burst. I'll do something else. Omnidirectional burst. We'll do that. There we go. So we'll put this onto the arm of the character. So this one is where you sample skeletal mesh. And that would be, source mode would be the attached parent. And we want preview mesh for now to be the many. You then choose where you want it to sample the bone. So bone sampling mode is going to be random and all bones. We don't want it there. We want it on the hand of the character. So there's a way to determine which bone you do it on. Hang on. Bones. Direct. Filtered bones. And then you set your filtered bones up here to the bones you want to use. So array element, and we'll choose hand R. Sure. But you put in whatever bones you want to do as well. It will randomize which one it goes on to. So we'll do that. Okay, so back on here, I can put this on the character. In fact, I'll put it on a timer. So do that there. Not timer, a delay or some kind. Just to see it's working. Delay by 4 seconds. Do this. We'll do auto destroy. And this should hopefully spawn on the hand of the character. So 1. Nope. I think I need to change the offset. I think it has a default offset to it. Simulation position. It might be okay. Position offset is 0, 0, 0. It looked like it was working, but I put it behind it. So it's got an offset on it. Attach it to the mesh. Snap the target. Yeah, that should be. Sans Undertale. I did a video on that. It's out already. It's called the Actor Palette. It's a plugin you can enable. Yes, it goes down there. Why is it going down there? Unless that's 0. It hasn't sampled the mesh correctly, maybe. Sample mesh, attach parent. I mean, I could just do the source. Oh, you want it just attach parent? That should just work. I'm going to move on because we're going to run out of other people. So, yeah. You do have 50 on next on spawn. Oh, do I? Where? Oh, wait. I had a bloody search thing on. Shape origin. What value is that at? Oh, there is offsets. Okay. Okay. The spawn on the player card. Oh, do I? Oh, I do. But it should still be up in the hand a bit. Okay, but it's still not getting the hand for whatever reason. I mean, I can attach it to the hand, I guess. And it says. Yeah. So you tie that with an animation, trigger it with that, and obviously remove the overlay material when you're finished doing it. Yeah. There you go. Anyway, next question. Thank you, Tiago. Is there a way to make a widget animation as loading screen with async? Hang on. Is there a way to make a widget animation as loading screen with async plugin? I don't think the async loading screen plugin has exposed anything to the UMG, so you can't do that. But they do have a load of different settings in their plugin settings, in the project settings. I can't help you with too much of that one because I obviously didn't make the plugin, so I don't really know. Timothy Thomason, is it possible to get PCG working in real time during runtime so I can use it for endless procedural landscape? So change randomization in given area, for instance, as the thing is running. As far as I know, no. I am not familiar with it being able to do that in runtime. It may have a feature to do that, but I don't think so. Most games that do something like that are relying on voxels to handle that. So emails coming through. Yeah. Oh no! I dropped my Mountain Dew. It's gonna be fizzy. Oh, it's all going wrong. Yeah, that's okay. It's half full, so it shouldn't be too bad. There you go. Next question. Don't drink that. How do you disable Lumen entirely? So you can actually Google it. There's loads of things in there, and Will Fouché has got a video about it, which is quite nice. But essentially, the main thing you want to do is you turn off global illumination method, change it from lumen to none, unless you want to use plugins and things, but none will work just fine. That's the main thing. But then there's some other things you have to change as well. I can't record it on my head, but that's the main one. Other things you want to change are going to be reflections as well, because reflections use the lumen by default. You change that to screen space probably, or you can use none and use captures instead if you want. Yeah. Neo Masaki, would you be able to do an FPS tutorial using physical projectiles instead of the line traced ones? I can do, yeah, if you want. But say the first person template has good demonstration of that, so yeah. Is it easy or hard to make your own voxel world without just using a plugin? I would always use a plugin personally, but I'm not clever enough to generate a voxel world on my own. If you want to, you're going into C++ to do it. So if you're comfortable with C++, I want to try it. You're more than welcome to, but plugin, easy way of doing it. Master Sifu does run on owning client, only run on the character owning the actor, or on the actual client game locally. It only goes on the client, the owning client. So, if you told that character over there to do something on the owning client, it won't happen on your screen. It will happen on their screen. It will happen on their local machine. How do we be able to remove widgets from all players, server and client, such as when the host starts the game? On mine, only the host go away when they choose start. You have to do a multicast out to everyone and tell them to remove their widgets. Yeah. Is the gas system any good? Yes, it is good. It's kind of complex if you're not familiar with like C++ and gameplay tags, for example. But yes, it is good. And this is why I made my own ability system in Blueprint so people could see an easier way of doing it. It basically does exactly the same thing. It's just in Blueprint form. But yes, it is good. It's very deep. You can really do lots of interesting things with it. Bake Monunda. Ryan, how can you make it a spinning object that goes forward? When I make it spin, it goes all over the place. Oh, you just fake the spinning. Easy way of doing it. So like Blueprint class here, we'll have an actor. Actually, no, we'll do a character pawn or something. Character, sure. And we'll have a mesh on it, and we'll give it a mesh. Oh, I'll just do like a chair or something obvious to see when it's spinning around. So you do a chair model thing, okay? And if you want to rotate the mesh, you could do it on here, like an event graph if you want. But if you're just rotating it, you could also do it via materials. So, for example, on our mesh over here, we want to basically duplicate. I'm going to duplicate the chair one. Because I'm going to make this thing rotate. So if I go into also selecting the chair model, and then in my material editor hit the little brick icon at the end, it sets the chair as a preview. And the thing you're doing here is world position offset, and I can never remember which one of the rotate nodes it is. So give me a second. Rotate about axis or rotate vector? No, rotate by axis. That looks kind of right. So normalized rotation axis. This would be the axis that you want spinning on. So that would be in the 1 in the Z. So imagine a big pole going down. Rotation angle. This would be like how much it's going to change. So we'll do time on this, and we'll just plug that into there. The pivot point. Whereabouts on this thing is it going to be? We're going to do actor position world space, and the position we want to change is the world position in there. And then this goes into world position offset, and you get that. And now this thing looks like it's spinning. It's not really. I'll just set that. Why can't I override the material on here? Oh, there you go. Check one. So this thing, oh dear, put it into my scene like this, and it'll look like it's spinning around. Well, oh wait, did I not apply the material? Apply. Yeah, the tick would be expensive. This is a lot cheaper because it's just changing the rendering of it. It's not actually changing anything about it. So that's one thing to be aware of. This doesn't change the collision of it. It only changes the rendering of it. So you won't get like your perfect collisions or anything like that. It would stay the same. But, yeah, there you go. So now we've got a spinning top sort of thing doing its job in the environment. But yes, to say, so it's a super cheap way of doing things that spin. So if you've got like props in your scene, like ceiling fans or I don't know, whatever, you don't have to animate them. You could just make the material animate them for you. I'll explain more about the settings there, so you don't just copy. You actually understand why this works the way it does, if it ever continues working again. Master Seafood, why are the variables of type map not replicatable, and is there a workaround to replicate them? So I'm not 100% sure the computer sciencey reason why maps aren't replicatable, but the way a workaround to replicate them is you build and you unbuild and rebuild them from one place to another. So you go through all the keys, generate the keys, send them over to the other one, and then send the values over to them as well, and it rebuilds it, reconstructs it on the other side. That's the way I've done it to get around using maps, because yeah, maps you can't do that. But yeah, that's the way I do it. I don't know what's happened here. It's just stopped working. It might catch up. We'll see. I'll see what else I can answer without the use of a computer. Can you do a video on optimization techniques? Yes, I will be doing one. We've been doing lots of optimization little things in Mimic. So it now runs at 60 FPS, full resolution, and it should run very little graphics memory. Like I think 2 gig of graphics memory you need for it. Where most people have 16 to 32, if not more. But yeah. So yeah, it will be at some point, not anytime right away, but yes, soon, hopefully. Hi Ryan, how are you? I was wondering how I would go about displacing volumetric fog with a character, sort of like a barrier from the fog. So for that sort of thing, you might be better off using the new Niagara fluid stuff. I haven't messed about with it myself yet, but that'd be a good place to start. And then using that instead of volumetric fog, because that could be a bit messy dealing with that. Yeah. Eric, the spin speed, say propeller on a plane linked to the plane speed. Yes, you totally could. So that at the moment, well, I say it ain't working, but when it does catch up, I can show you. That its spin is controlled by time in this one. Oh, there you go. So its spin is controlled by time in that mesh. Okay, so it's just always constantly spinning. But you could pass through any sort of variable you want into it, just through the object. So let's say, for example, okay, let's take this mesh here. I'm gonna copy this, and I'm gonna go to my player character. I'm gonna replace my player character with this mesh. So I'm just gonna add that to here. Paste. Okay, and we'll turn collision off on it. No collision, and I want to feed it that value. Now the chair at the moment is controlled by a few things. So the rotate by axis is this 001 is the normalized rotation axis. So basically what pole is it rotating around? The rotation angle is handled by how much it's rotating. So time is always updating and always changing. So therefore that's why it's always spinning at the moment. But this is just how you want to rotate it. I mean, I could just type in here, like we've got 0 like this, or I could type in 90 and it'll turn it round. Oh, hang on. Oh, no, it's radians, isn't it? 0.5? Yeah. So, it'll rotate, like so. So if the value is going between like 0, in this case, I think it's 0 to 1, the rotation angle, you can just feed it whatever value you want in that. So actor position as well, pivot point, is where it's going to rotate about. So where is the pole located in the actor? And the position is referring to the pixels and their position. So what things are you moving around? In this case, imagine absolute world position is you're rotating the position of each pixel to rotate around this point. So knowing these sort of things, if you want it to change its spin based upon how fast it's going, we're going to use the time and then multiply it by my speed of my character. So you put that in there, and we'll convert that to a parameter. And this will be velocity. Okay. And that could be also be material parameter collection if you want, but in this case we've used a dynamic parameter. And so with that in mind, I'm going to create on my player character on the event graph on begin play. We get our mesh. We're going to do dynamic material instance create. We're going to choose our chair 1 material, promote to a variable, chair, like that. And then I'm going to set that back to the seg mesh. Ooh, not that one. Set material. Like that. Okay, so now I can feed it information. So let's say, for example, I go to my move here. I can then say on the chair here, set scalar parameter value. And this will be velocity. And the value is going to be my velocity. Remember, it goes between 0 and 1, so we have to normalize it. So we get the velocity. There. We get the vector length. And the vector length then, we're going to normalize this to a range. Normalize to range. And plug that into there. The range max is going to be our top speed. So we're going to take out our character movement and do max walk speed. And put that into range max. Let me turn my controller on. Let's show this. We're going to there. Since you're using time, spin rate will be affected by FPS or how many actors on screen, right? Yes, time is, yeah, it's not going to use the frame rate time. Right, so as you can see, if I move, why is it going back to 0? It should stop for 1. Let's close that. That one. That. Share velocity. Let me just print string that value. It should be a. Oh, God. And that should go through there and change that. So when it's 0, it should be sitting still. And when it's 1, it should be fully spinning. So why is it freaking out, first of all? I think I need to put this on a tick rather than on the movement, because when I'm not pushing anything, it's not setting it back down to 0. So, oh, we've already got a tick. There we go. There we go. So as I move forward now, I don't know why it's freaking out a massive amount. Why'd it freak out if I'm only doing... This thing hasn't got controller set up for its movement. Hold on. There's a setting somewhere, I can't remember what it's called though, which allows you to basically ignore the inputs from the controller. Round up, round down. Well, I'll tell you what, if I easy proof of case of this, if I just change its acceleration. acceleration here. Yeah. If I change that to like 200. As I move forward, so you can see it speed up. There we go. I don't know why it does this little freak out though, at like little values. Oh, it's because, sorry, it's because time, hang on. It's kind of making time smaller. I don't want time to be smaller. I need, slow it down. So I need to take this value, 1 minus it. I think. No, because then the answer is yes, you can, but just getting the right maths. Don't want to multiply then, I want to divide. Divide by that. But then I want it to not do that. Because you're dividing by 0, therefore it doesn't work. Put that way round. 0 divided by time. No, it's not going to work either, is it? Answer's yes. I just don't know the math. I'm quite tired. So you have to get the velocity here, because when if velocity is set to 0.5, for example, this value gets smaller because we were multiplying it, which you don't want. You want time. You want that to, when velocity is 0, you want it to be like that. But if it's 0.5, no, that's right. 0.5 is slower. So why is it going? Why was it speeding up then? That's weird. So when it gets a decimal, it's like really, really fast and sort of unpause. What is that all about? You still want to use those values because you want it to be like half speed and all that. So you don't want to use that. So stuff you use tick, but it's still less expensive. Yeah, it'd be still less expensive because you're not changing anything about the rotational like collision of it. You're not changing collision. You're just changing a value. If you're just changing a number, fine. No, not dividing, we're multiplying. Oh, and it's frozen again. For God's sake. TJ, if there was any new ones in there at the start of the thing, I would have done. But you asked, okay, right, okay, so yeah, this was from last week, wasn't it? But we weren't here, was we? Demonstration of having a weapon select like Half-Life, like using the mouse wheel to go through weapons. Highlight from the list and selects it when you click on it. It skips over weapons you don't have, weapons that are empty. Is it showing the values, health, and second control? It's a bit involved, TJ. Yeah, I'll have to do a whole different video on it. Last couple of questions because we're out of time. But JJ Tittles doesn't seem to work, even though the HUD isn't showing the values. And the second controller won't help connect. Let's put that back in. Let me take out this spinning chair nonsense. And put... I'm going to push 1. We'll do create local player. Yep. Okay. So, let's push 1. So it's that character. Okay, so we need to change the reassignment of controllers. I've got a controller here and a keyboard here. Let's say I want the keyboard to control player 1 and this one to play controller 2, for example. So there is a thing you can do somewhere. Where you can change the inputs and how they're assigned. Hardware devices. So here you got things like, yeah. So this is how you set up basic hard. Oh, that's Linux. Hang on. Whoop. Windows. There we go. So the basic input devices here. Hardware device. Gamepad. Primary thing. Yeah, okay. So we're gonna add another one. Oh, hang on. And primary device type is, say, keyboard and mouse. Okay. I'm going to swap these. No, I'll leave it like that, actually. So keyboard and mouse would be the primary device type. So I believe what happens is... no. Oh, God. What is it? There is a setting that you have to do in that. What the hell was it? Input. Maps and modes, is it? Skip assigning gamepad to player 1. Never just make so the gamepad start being assigned to the second controller ID and local multiplayer. So the same fact as enabling root first gamepad to second client. Okay, so you turn that on, and that should keep the mouse on keyboard on this one. No. Okay. Yeah, not root. Bias. Input. No. It's broken in UE5 though. Oh, well, that doesn't help. So that would help. So so what was the other setting called on the root first gamepad to second client? But that wasn't part of this, wasn't it? Root, no. Root. Ooh. No. Get the player controller who owns a given input device ID. Set local player controller ID. Set what physical controller ID a player should be using. It's only local player. Okay, that one. That's it. Yeah. So do that. Do that. And that be set to 1. Yeah. God damn it. How's the anniversary? Wedding anniversary is next week. The 23rd. This week was my birthday. On Monday was my birthday. I'm 36 years old. Hold on. I think I need more controllers to really test this out properly because, yeah. I've got more controllers, at least down here. Because this is connected to here. If there's a way for me to see controllers assigned to it. No. Don't know. It should be what you just seen, but I don't know if it's reading the keyboard and the gamepad as 2 separate inputs. I don't think it's assigning them separately. Because if you ever notice, if you disconnect something, like for example, if I turn this off, I might take the battery out. There you go. Yeah, there you go. So platform user ID 0, device ID 0. This has been disconnected, which obviously the keyboard and mouse should be device ID 0. This should be device ID 1. So when I connect it though, you see device ID 0. I need a second controller. So if you had 2 controllers, not a problem. Keyboard and gamepad, I don't know how you'd mix the 2 up. Yeah. So, device properties, hardware devices, gamepad, force feedback, device, keyboard, mouse. No. Don't know how to make it work with both. Hold up. When I launched the game, it's standalone for some reason. Thanks. Oh, yeah, it worked when you launched it. Okay. Cool. Maybe it's just because we're edited them. There we go. Anyway, that will have to do for today. We have run a little bit over, so thank you very much, everyone who has joined the stream tonight and asked your questions. If you didn't get your question answered, I do apologise, but we'll do this again next Wednesday for another question time. We're back again this Saturday for another live stream, and also the launch of our game jam on the 23rd of October. So make sure you're signed up over on the itch page, as well as following us on Kickstarter for Mimic. And if you want to support Mimic's development, head over to Kickstarter, follow the page, and ready for when it's launched. Take care, everyone, and best of luck with your projects, and I'll see you all again next week. Bye, everyone.